Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos, and today I have for you a Elemental Hero Neos Fusion deck using a Gemini engine, or you could say it's a Gemini deck using a Neos Fusion engine. Either way, it's a really fun deck. Normally when I play Geminis, I play a Valence version, as you guys know, and in that version you can only run pretty much the Gemini Sparks and the Supervise. So I honestly forgot how broken enemy controller is with Supervise, and I was able to do that with this deck. We're using our skill Miracle Draw, which I believe is if you have the third draw phase after an Elemental Hero monster hits your graveyard, you get to draw into Pot of Greed, and that's really good in this deck because sometimes you tend to run out of resources if you have to rely on your Gemini Sparks or your Supervise too much, and if the game goes longer, your opponent might out-resource you. So that Pot of Greed is definitely pretty clutch. Also, Neos Fusion giving us a sort of a boss monster in this deck. It's really good. It's another thing that your opponent has to deal with, and other than that, what you're trying to do with this card, Neos Fusion, is to really thin the deck. You want to get monsters in the graveyard that you think are going to help you in the matchup. For example, if you're going up against something like Ancient Gears and you want to get into your Heavy Knight of the Flame, a good way to do that is just to Neos Fusion, and then with a Supervise. Once the Supervise leaves the field, you can get your Heavy Knight of the Flame. There's also some small synergy with Elemental Hero Neos being a normal monster, meaning you can actually bring him back with a Supervise when it hits the grave. So that's kind of cool. You can make some cheeky plays like Dark Valkyria, you pop a monster, then you econ take, the Supervise is going to bring back Elemental Hero Neos, and then you just push for game. So the deck is pretty fast. For the fusions, we're only running Brave Neos and Neos Knight, or Evocator is a warrior, so that's the card that you'd be using. I went back and forth between Miracle Contact at 1 and Gemini Spark at 3. Ideally, you want Miracle Contact so that you can shuffle back your Neos and your Neos Fusion is not dead. But because Supervise can bring your Neos back onto the field, you can, if you get to a point where you need to use the third one, you can do that. So I'm not sure. I kind of went back and forth, but this is the build that I ended with. 2 Canadias, pretty basic stuff, and then we have the same Gemini monster lineup. 3 Valkyrias, 2 Evocator, 1 Heavy Knight of the Flame. Yeah, let's go ahead and show you guys some replays. Now I do want to shout out Nekuro for actually suggesting I played this kind of build on the stream last night, and it was really fun. I hadn't really thought about it, and being able to use that Pot of Greed in Geminis is actually pretty clutch, as you will see in I believe it's this duel. So we're going second. I'm gonna go ahead and activate or Supervise, get rid of that back row before we special summon our Neos. You don't want to run into any floodgates unless if you can prevent it. Brave Neos is going to search another Neos Fusion, or I might get the Miracle no, I get a Neos Fusion, and we're gonna see the Psychic Will there, but that's fine. If he tries to destroy or Brave Neos, we can just banish the Neos Fusion, and he actually goes Psychokinesis, so we're going to flip that Will there face down, and he's gonna get double attack boost on a Stardust Charge Warrior, 2900 Stardust Charge Warrior, nothing to laugh at. I'm gonna Neos Fusion again, and I'm mainly deck thinning right here. That gives me a second protection for my monsters, because Stardust Warriors can attack both of them. So if I want to, I can banish both and keep them both on the field. But really, I'm trying to get to my my Supervise. I'm trying to get to my Gemini Spark. So I'm just deck thinning right there. We destroy the Will there, search the Miracle Contact. We're gonna protect one, let the other one die. It is turn 6, so we get our Pot of Greed, draw 2. busted Supervise and Gemini Spark. We're gonna see the Canada. All I have to do is chain the Gemini Spark, destroy the Stardust Charged Warrior, bring back Elemental Hero Neos, and I still had access to a Miracle Contact if I wanted to go into that. Hog of Greed. We got Yummy Yugi next. Hope you guys had a good Easter, by the way. Pretty late, but if you still watch the video on Sunday, then you know, happy Easter to you. So here we're going up against Yami Yugi, going second. Really good starting hand. We basically have Neos Fusion and a bunch of back row for it. So we're just going to go ahead and summon Brave Neos. Set 2, keep the Gemini Spark. No point in setting the Gemini Spark. And we're going up against Geargias, which is not a huge threat. We can just banish the Neos Fusion and then they have nothing else to do. And because I have a second Neos Fusion, I'm going to go into Neos Knight. That will allow me to clear the entire board. We're going to get another search off. Just deck thinning again. Trying to get to my Gemini engine. Summons an Arsenal, searches, and Accelerator. Miracle Draw. Draw 2 more. And look at everything we can do. Econ Take, Gemini Spark. I had another Neos Fusion. What more can you ask for? So many resources at that point. You say. In this one, you don't actually get to see the Neos Fusion, but it just goes to show how much of the field you can clear with your Gemini engine. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I had a pretty busted hand, but still. Mark of the Dragon head. We're gonna go first. Summon Evocator, set all over back row. He's gonna set 3 and a monster. So we're gonna activate Evocator's effect, Chain or Gemini Spark, so we can pop 2 cards at once. Special summon or Evocator back and do the same thing again. Pop the back row, pop the monster. Get our Evocator back, and look at that. He's down to 1 card left. Meanwhile, I have double Canadia and an Evocator. Sets another back row, we pick up another monster. And that's almost game, but he does have a Canadia. But at this point, I mean, what could he possibly top deck into that my back row can't deal with it? Nothing, so he scoops it up. Didn't even need Pot of Greed then. And this is an Ancient Gear matchup. And in this match is where you really see the whole deck thinning and why it's so important to get to your outs for certain matchups like this one, for example. Ancient Gear Wyvern is going to search a Reactor. We're going to go ahead and normal summon, go for the Neos Fusion. Go for the attack on the Wyvern. Search another Neos Fusion. Hit him for 1800, and I don't want him summoning that Reactor, so we're going to go ahead and destroy the Ancient Gear Castle. Unfortunately, he did have double Cyclone and a Fortress. So he's going to be able to special summon that Wyvern, search another Fortress, and Galaxy Cyclones the Fortress that he just got. Goes into Reactor Dragon, and I'm gonna have to banish my Neos Fusion to protect my monster, but at 3000 I can't really get over 3000 by battle, so I have to get into my enemy controllers, my Gemini Sparks. I have the Gemini Spark, but I need my Gemini monster, so we're gonna thin the deck a little bit more. Set Canadia. I probably shouldn't have set the Gemini Spark because he ends up sniping my Canadia with the Galaxy Cyclone. and at that point, my Gemini Spark is gonna be lost by the Ancient Gear Reactor attack. But we get the Pot of Greed, draw 2, and there's our outs. Valkyria, enemy controller, Econ take for the win. So as you can see, in most of these duels, I was able to get to my outs because of Pot of Greed. That's why I think Miracle Draw is such a great skill for this particular deck. And I'm surprised not more people are running the Neos Fusion engine alongside Miracle Draw. Because if you think about it, all you need is like a 5 to 6 card core, and then you can get to a Pot of Greed on any deck, basically. Oh, and this one it wasn't really a super eventful matchup on my end, but my opponent had a pretty spicy deck, so I decided to save it and show you guys. We're gonna see the Wink Rebo. Brave Neos is going to search another Neos Fusion. And I just attacked to see if there was more Kribos in the background, in his hand. I'm sorry. He's gonna get a fusion tag with Sabatio, the Philosopher's Stone. Goes for Hey True Name, activates double fusion tag. Look at this madman. Contact fusion into V to the Z Dragon Catapult Dragon. This card can only be special summoned from your deck by removing from play the above cards you control. You do not use polymerization. Once per turn, remove from play one card your opponent controls. When this card attacks, you can change the battle position of the attack target. Flip effects are not activated at this turn. Pretty OP monster. He's gonna banish my Brave Neos. My fusion cannot protect it from that. But I have the enemy controller. I have supervised. I have a heavy knight. I can banish it. I can econ take it. I can do all kinds of stuff. So he just scoops. But I really saved that one more for the sake of you guys watching his spicy deck. That who knows? Maybe I'll try at some point. But yeah, that's it. Neos Fusion, it's turning out to be a really fun engine. There's many things I want to try. I want to try with some Bujins as well, probably later down the road. But Geminis was definitely a really fun ride with this deck. Again, the Miracle Contact, I feel like you get more value out of a third Gemini Spark, but it also makes the deck more expensive. So if you want to try this deck out, you know, you figure out what to put in there in place of the Sparks or the Miracle Contacts. But thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Join my Discord if you haven't. The link will be down in the description. Along my PayPal link if you guys want to support my channel, support my content. I really, really appreciate that. And until next time.